The day I found my garage door smashed open and my Harley Davidson gone, I never imagined it would turn into the most humiliating legal nightmare of my life. Not just a theft, not just a tragedy, but a full-blown character assassination led by the most toxic HOA president this neighborhood had ever seen. My name is Marcus. I've lived in Riverside Meadows for 8 years, one of those fake perfect communities where the lawns are greener than the personalities, the kind of place where everyone smiles but the HOA watches you like a prison warden. And at the center of it all sat Karen Whitmore, HOA president, self-appointed sheriff, professional life ruiner. Before Karen, my life was simple. I worked as a mechanic, kept to myself, paid my dues, and spent every spare dollar building my dream, a midnight blue 2018 Harley Davidson Street Glide. That bike wasn't just metal and rubber, it was my therapy, my escape, my sanity. Karen hated it from day one. Too loud, too flashy, too disruptive to community standards. She fined me for everything. Grass too tall, garage door the wrong shade, trash cans visible for exactly 12 minutes. I became her personal project. And then there was her son, Tyler, 19. No job, no school, just entitlement in human form. Tyler was obsessed with my bike, always circling it, asking how fast it went, smiling like it already belonged to him. 3 months before everything exploded, he asked to ride it. I said no. That's when his smile died, and Karen's real campaign began. What I didn't know yet was that my refusal had just planted the seed for a revenge that would cost someone their life, and almost cost me mine. 3 months after I told Tyler no, Karen turned Riverside Meadows into my personal hell. The violation notices doubled, then tripled. I got fined for excessive engine presence, for a wreath that was emotionally aggressive, for parking in my own driveway at an angle that encouraged noise culture. I wasn't living in a neighborhood anymore. I was living inside Karen's ego. Then came Friday night. I worked a double shift, got home around 11 p.m., checked through the garage window. My Harley was locked and safe. I grabbed a beer, sat on the couch, and passed out. At 3:04 a.m., my phone rang. It was Officer Danny Rodriguez. His voice wasn't friendly. It was tight, controlled. He asked if I was home and if my motorcycle was still in my garage. My stomach dropped. Outside, 2 police cars lit up my driveway like a crime scene. Danny walked me to the garage. The side door was kicked in, splintered, deadbolt destroyed. My Harley was gone. 40 minutes away on Highway 27, a motorcycle matching my bike had wrapped itself around a semi-truck at over 110 miles per hour. The rider died instantly. They showed me the wreckage at the station. It was my bike. By morning, the neighborhood gossip confirmed what the police hadn't yet officially told me. The dead rider was Tyler Whitmore. Karen's son had broken into my garage, stolen my Harley, got drunk and high, and killed himself joyriding. I sat in my kitchen staring at the wall, realizing something terrifying. Karen didn't just lose her son. She just found someone to blame. And I was standing exactly where she needed a villain. If this story has you hooked, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. For about 2 weeks after Tyler's death, everything was quiet. No HOA notices, no emails, no Karen. I thought maybe grief finally humbled her. I was wrong. 3 weeks after the funeral, a man in a suit knocked on my door and handed me a thick envelope. Wrongful death lawsuit. $2 million. Karen and her husband Robert were suing me for their son's death. Their argument? I had created an attractive nuisance, that my motorcycle was too powerful, too tempting, and that by owning it in a residential area, I had basically lured Tyler into stealing it. Let that sink in. Her son broke into my garage, stole my property, drove drunk and high, died in a high-speed crash, and I was being accused of negligence. Karen went on local Facebook groups calling me a reckless biker and a danger to families. HOA emails started circulating about community safety concerns. People I'd lived next to for years stopped making eye contact. I became the villain in a story where I was the victim. My lawyer, Patricia Holbrook, didn't sugarcoat it. The case was nonsense, but dangerous nonsense. Because Karen wasn't after justice, she was after punishment, and she had money, connections, and an entire HOA reputation machine ready to back her lies. During discovery, they demanded everything: my garage records, insurance, even my past HOA violations, every petty fine Karen had ever written me. She was trying to rewrite reality, not as a grieving mother, but as a prosecutor. And I realized something chilling. Karen didn't want the truth. She wanted a public execution, with a courtroom as the stage, and I was about to find out just how far grief, entitlement, and power could twist a person into something unrecognizable. The trial lasted 3 days, and every single one felt like a public humiliation ritual designed for me. Karen took the stand first. She cried, shook, held a photo of Tyler like a prop in a theater play, told the jury her son was good boy led astray by temptation. Then she looked straight at me and said I'd killed her baby by being selfish and refusing to share. The courtroom went silent. That's when Patricia stood up, calm, surgical, merciless. She presented the police report. Forced entry. Photos of my smashed garage door. The toxicology report, alcohol and marijuana in Tyler's system. Witness statements from a bar where Tyler had bragged he was finally taking that asshole's bike. Then came the final nail. Tyler's phone. Text messages sent hours before his death. Open quote, I'm taking Marcus's bike tonight. He thinks he owns everything. I'll teach him a lesson about sharing. Close quote, premeditated. Not grief. Not temptation. Theft. Karen started screaming, not crying. Screaming. The judge threatened to remove her from the courtroom. The jury didn't even need 4 hours, not guilty on all counts. Karen and Robert got nothing, and the judge ordered them to pay my $60,000 legal fees. Karen didn't just lose the case, she lost her reputation, her HOA position, her marriage, and 2 months later, she moved out of Riverside Meadows in shame. The most wicked HOA queen in the neighborhood, publicly destroyed by her own lies. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell us where you're watching from, Hen. And ask yourself honestly, who was really responsible for Tyler's death? Grief or entitlement?